set it up earlier. Anyway, this week what we're going to do, we're going to talk about how to do video podcasts. I'm going to share with you a resource that I found during the last week as I wanted to dig more into this a little bit more to find out how to do it, what tools were available, and basically how to do it really easily. And I've managed to do that. I found one tool that I think is very, very good for doing video podcasts. Now, the advantages of doing video podcasts is, you know, it's similar to when you're doing your YouTube videos and stuff, but you've got a sort of access to a different kind of audience because it's very easy to put it into iTunes, into Stitcher, into, you know, different directories, SoundCloud, etc. So you can get another sort of another kind of targeted audience from different circles than what we normally would expect from just doing from blogging and from YouTube, etc. Okay, and so you can drive a lot more traffic, and it's very, very low cost, even with the tool that I'm going to show you that does most of this for you. Okay, so you've got multiple options to do this. You can use the tools like I'm going to recommend, or you can just go over to Fiverr and get it done for you with just a WordPress feed, simple WordPress feed, going over to iTunes, and you know, you can just post via XML feed from there any videos that you do, and it will be on iTunes as a podcast. Okay, it's very, very easy to syndicate as well. You can either do it on Fiverr or you can use the tool that I'm going to recommend to you. Okay, and that tool does all of it for you, which is really perfect. And you know, the traffic potential from this, I don't think it's going to be something that happens overnight, but over time I do expect that you can drive a lot of traffic. Okay, and the other thing is there's very, very few people doing this, and you can also use it to run affiliate campaigns. For example, you see people like HandFan doing these sort of video interviews for the product launches. There's no reason why you can't do that with video podcasts for you know the same kind of things, or you can do it within different niches as well, I guess. But that's the first thing that came into my mind about how to monetize it. I'm sure there's better ways than just doing it that way. Maybe sponsored advertising and stuff once you've got traffic. But for now, I'm just going to show you very, very easily how to create these and set them up. Now, you're going to see on the left-hand side here, we've got a lot of slides. I'm going to share the link with you in just a second, okay? We've got a lot of slides. I cannot possibly cover all of these in today's webinar. Usually what we're trying to do is 30-minute webinars. But these slides, actually, they're very, very helpful for me as well to be able to make the blog posts after we have done the webinar. So they're there for you to be able to access resources and stuff, but also for my benefit for being able to write the blog post very, very quickly after we have done the webinar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one tool, how to use it properly. Not really going into a lot of depth how to use it because it's very intuitive. And if you go there and you try it, you're going to be really surprised at how easy it is to set up a video podcast, okay? So let me see if we've got any. Let me see. I don't know what Clyde is talking about here. Let's just share the slides. Clyde, if you're still there, you need to tell me, you need to explain again what you're talking about. I'm not quite sure what you're meaning. Okay, so the slides, guys, here they go. Here you go. Let me just get my mouse out of the second screen here, and I can send this to you. Okay, there's access to the slides in here. So the tool I want to show you is called Hipcast. Okay, now Hipcast is actually very, very, very good. It's very easy to use, and we can do video podcasts in here. Now, I've got some resources down below, and you can see in here, you can see the pricing and stuff in here. It's very, very cheap, from $4.95 all the way up to $49. Now, I took this one here, the Silver Plan, at $19.95 a month because I'm planning to do these webinar replays as video podcasts. So I've got quite a lot of existing sort of videos that I can use for this. Now, what we can do with Hipcast, what's really, really cool about it, if we just find the features of it, I'll just click on this features. I can probably show you easier from in here. What you can do is you can attach it to multiple blogs, okay, and you can create as many podcasts as you want as well. Okay, it's very, very easy. You can see here I've got one called SEO Sundays, which I'm going to put these videos that we're doing now, these webinar replays will go through as SEO Sundays. Okay, we can attach different blogs. You can see here I've attached Blogger, My main Google account has got 3 different blogger accounts in here, Blogspot accounts. And in here I've got my WordPress site as well. And I'm going to add another WordPress site, which is a Google News site as well. And so that I can just syndicate whatever I want to as soon as I've uploaded a video on here. Okay. Now they will take care of the formatting of the video. So if you've got an MP4, they will take care of any conversions needed to make it post into iTunes and stuff like that. And what we can do is you can either do video or audio, and you can combine both as well together. Now it's really, really easy to set up. So if I click in here to do podcasts, if I click in here to, let me just go into existing podcasts, it'd be so much easier to show you. Okay, when we click in here, when we've added a new podcast, you get this screen at the top here. Okay, you can see edit podcast, podcast page, your stats, iTunes settings. In the publish here, it tells you what you need to do to publish on iTunes. If we just open that up. And it's really easy stuff. It's very, very, very intuitive. Okay, you can even post it into your blog using an embed code as well. And here down the bottom, they've got what you need to do to be able to post it to iTunes and also to Facebook as well. Now, this is working with a bunch of different Web 2.0 sites, LiveJournal, Tumblr, Blogger, all those kinds of sites it's working with. It will syndicate, but it will also syndicate to the podcast directories. Okay, this is really big because being able to post to all the major podcast directories and them doing it automatically for you makes it so much simpler, and it cuts out the learning curve that you would normally have to do. Okay, so they're going to take care of the syndication to Web 2.0, syndication to your own blogs, syndication to the podcast directories. They will publish the podcasts for you. They will host them for you as well. And it's just become really, really easy to do video podcasts. And I was actually thinking a few days ago that I wanted to build a tool that would do something like this, and then I found this one. So I'm actually glad that I did, because it's so very, very easy to use. Okay, so this is a tool I recommend. There is not an affiliate link in here. Reason is that they don't do affiliate programs. And so you can find out all you want to do in there. Just by looking at their blog as well. They've got a blog over there which gives you a lot of information how to use it. But really, really simple, guys. Very, very easy to do. It does all your syndication. It does it does all the promotion stuff for you, and you're paying just the one-time cost. Okay. So for promotional strategies, there was a lady who I hired on Fiverr. She was providing, how to get to the top of iTunes for your categories, to give you some suggestions and stuff. So I took a few of them that she gave to me, and I put them in here as well. So what she's suggesting is put some audio podcasts as well as video podcasts, so that it's more accessible for people using iPhones or whatever when they're using workouts or driving. She suggests that you rack up about 15 to 20 episodes if you can, and publish about 3 to 5 times a week for the first 8 weeks. Now that's okay to do as long as you've already got the content. But the thing about a video podcast or any podcast, it doesn't have to be huge amount of time in a podcast. You can do just 5-minute podcasts. Okay, you could stack up 20 questions about anything. Okay, so if I was talking about video marketing, I might have 10 tips about optimizing your YouTube videos, 10 tips about optimizing your YouTube channels. I can make 20 podcasts within a day, really, just by making 5-minute podcasts. Okay, just 5-minute videos, really. And once I save them in Camtasia, I just need to upload them into Hipcast, and it does all the work for me. Okay, so don't feel daunted about that. What she is suggesting here is what she has done in her own experience, and this is what's actually working. Okay, and if you can get that kind of volume done, even though it's not a huge amount of length of time in each podcast, you can hope to get into the new and noteworthy list on iTunes as well. Okay, she's talking about as well to create a variety of types of episodes, like troubleshooting problems and straight up tips and interviews and stuff like that. Now I have added in these slides places where you can go and get people that will let you be a guest, or you can find guests for your own podcast as well, which is pretty cool. So you can find down here in the resources down here, I think it's number 8 or number 9. Okay, and in this advice that she gave me, she basically saying go over to YouTube, find the most watched videos and focus on those for the first few weeks. And basically what she's saying is find out what your audience really wants. That's a good suggestion because you can find out your top rated or your most viewed content as long as you're not been buying views. And you'll be able to see quite quickly what your audience really is interested in. Now, this is a great thing to offer clients as well. It would depend on what kind of clients, but if you've got a client who is something like real estate agent, for example, and they want to give tips about how to buy property in Pattaya or how to buy a property in San Francisco, whatever, this is a kind of great strategy that you can offer for those kind of clients. Okay, it really does have to be a service business, but you know, if you're doing offline marketing to get local businesses, always keep that in mind because it's so easy to set up, and you can actually charge them quite a lot of money for setting something like this up. You could even charge them per episode, even though you've created the account in somewhere like Hipcast, because you need to charge for your work. And you know, what I find with a lot of people that are doing the offline stuff is that they end up giving too much of the time for the money they're charging. So don't be afraid to charge when you're offering a service like this because it's a premium service. Having that knowledge to be able to do this kind of stuff. Okay, if you already got a great supply of content already, you can see some videos that have been watched more than others. It's basically she repeating what she said before, and basically what we can do then is we can just get them straight up into Hipcast, you know, 10, 20, 30 episodes. I mean, I've got over 1,000 videos, I think, on my YouTube channel. Some of them are unlisted, but I've got more than enough there that I could easily, you know, upload 30, 40, 50 episodes just for the stuff that I've already got and make it this, you know, achievable, what she is suggesting to post often, especially in the first 8 weeks, okay? Use evergreen outros in your video podcast. Well, things like the outros, yeah, they should always be the same, but I put in here some resources as well for Fiverr.com, and I put some lists and put some links in here for Fiverr where you can go and buy stuff, okay? Podcast that, and it needs to be 1400 by 1400 for iTunes, okay? Where you can get intros and outros and stuff like that. There's another link here to Hipcast. And you'll see some other guys in here. This guy will alternatively set it up on WordPress with iTunes for $25 one-time fee. That could be okay as well if you don't want to go into a monthly sort of membership thing. I just like Hipcast because it does so much more than just set up the XML feed to go to iTunes. It's doing all the syndication. It's doing a huge amount of work for me. So for me, that makes a lot of sense. So what I did, once I set this up, I went over to blogger.com and I set up a brand new podcast blog here. It's already had 41 page views, and I don't know where they came from. Possibly they came from Google Plus. Excuse me. I think they must have came from Google Plus. And what I did is I just tested one to see how it went. And basically, I just took a very, very old video. This is about 4 or 5 years old, this video here. But because I was using my other computer at the time, this is the only one I could find. So I uploaded this video just to see the process, and you can see here it's looking quite good. The only thing with Blogger, what you will find sometimes is that their templates or themes, they call them templates, we call them themes for WordPress. Usually they're not that wide, and you will find with the sizes from Hipcast that it might come over and into your sort of sidebar in here. All you need to do is you go into the editing, okay? So if I go into the editing here, and I go into the layout for that blog. Oh, actually not the layout. Let me go to template. That must be. No, just bear with me a second. I'm trying to find a place where I can get the. Oh yeah, template designer up here. I think it's in here where we can, yeah. And here you can see you can adjust widths, and you can just basically use this slide here and make your main part of your blog big enough that will take the video, because they will post the video from Hipcast at 640 wide, okay? So you need to stretch out a little bit. Mine was right over into the sidebar at one point, and then I found this link and I've dragged it over. And to get there again, all you do is once you've logged into your Blogger account, all you need to do is go into, just come back a bit, go into the layout, in your settings, go into layout, and then you will see this link here that says template designer, and you can just stretch it out, and you can see now it's looking okay. But before, it was right across my sidebar there, and that's just an easy way that we can get that fixed very, very quickly. Okay, so let me come back over here. Let's see if we get any questions actually from now. Anybody got any questions? Nothing? Okay. Are we still on air? I'm not getting many questions, and I wondered if I had lost connection. So anyway, what I've done is I've put in a huge amount of resources in here. You can see I've put a bunch of time into making this as easy as possible for you. And here you can find as well on slide number 8, where you can get some guest podcasting opportunities. So there's one website here that is, what's the name of it again? Interview Connections. You can pay them a one-time fee of $97. They also have monthly fees, but they're quite expensive to take monthly, but you have a one-time option where you can get maybe 2 or 3 guest interviews already. I would test that. If you want to be serious about using podcasting, it's probably the right way to go to be able to leverage sites like that. I would definitely try the one-time 97. If it's working, if it's driving a huge amount of traffic, then it's going to be equivalent of getting guest post backlinks and traffic that comes with it. So it might even be worth it at the monthly, but until I test it, I won't really know. There's another one here called radioguestlist.com. You can find some people in there. You can interview people, and you can get interviewed by people. And there's a couple of people on Fiverr offering some kind of service like that as well. But I would be more careful with the Fiverr ones. I had a look at some people on Fiverr the other day who were offering guest post opportunities, and the SEO metrics were absolutely awful. So just be careful there. Check the SEO metrics if you see anybody on Fiverr that you're interested to work with for that kind of thing. And I found this other blog post as well from a company called Bright Ideas. And basically, if you want to do interviews with other people as guests, get other people to come into your podcast, which is a very, very easy way for you to get content quickly, and very, very good content as well. These guys have produced a sort of template guide of the kind of questions that you can ask. Okay, so I've spread that between 2 slides over here just to give you some ideas. I wouldn't copy this word for word. It's going to be different for any kind of niche, but it will give you some ideas how you can just have 5 or 10 questions that you can run through and do an interview in about 20 to 30 minutes, which is really quick and really easy and pretty painless to do. Okay, so if you combine all this with Hipcast, what you're going to find will happen is that the podcast directories have got to follow links. Those podcast directories have a lot of traffic as well. They can get you, you know, to the point where people will be connecting with you, asking either to be on your podcast or to do podcasts with them. You know, you will find multiple opportunities, but you've got to be consistent with it. But the thing is, if you're already doing videos for YouTube, there's no reason why some of those videos, if they're sort of informational videos, cannot be used for video podcasts as well. It's just giving you another dimension, okay? It's giving you access to another traffic source. And, you know, for the price in here for this particular the Hipcast, this particular software tool, it's very, very cheap for $19.95 per month. That is really good value, guys. I mean, seriously good value for all the work they do. And I'm so glad I found it, because otherwise I was actually going to go and build one myself. But I don't need to now, because this one has been around for a while and it's doing pretty well. Okay, so let's see if we get any questions. What can you charge for setting up a client, Bob? I saw some guy on Fiverr that I was talking to last week, and he wanted to charge me $80 per episode. Okay, so even if you charge $50 per episode, all you're doing is well, it depends how much work you're doing. If you're just charging for making it go live on iTunes, for example, $50 an episode is okay. If you're helping him to produce the video, then it has to be far, far higher. Okay, Hipcasts. It's Ganti, you've got an option there for $4.95 a month. okay, and it's sort of pay as you go for all the sort of bandwidth and stuff you use. I took the one at $19.95 because they do the syndication at that price. So for $20 a month, I get syndication to Web 2.0 and for the podcast directories and stuff like that. And they do all the work for me. I don't need to go and do the research. Before I bought a tool called Ordello, okay, it was okay. It wasn't a bad tool, but it didn't do anything with video. And I had to do a lot of the legwork myself. They kind of take care of all of that kind of stuff. And so you just go ahead and, you know, check a box and say, yeah, I want it syndicated, and they do it for you. Perfect. Yeah, guarantee it's monthly. So I would recommend $19.95 if you've got a lot of videos on YouTube and the informational videos, not just like affiliate promotional stuff, but if the informational videos, if you're giving away, you know, sort of things like how-to tips and the tutorial stuff, kind of stuff that I do, then it makes perfect sense to be able to use that. Okay, and $19.95 is a very, very good investment. Really, really cheap investment for this kind of thing. I would have charged about $37 to $47 per month if I had a tool like this. I really would, because there's so much it does. It's very cheap. Okay. Any more questions, guys? If not, then I think what we're going to do is we're going to end this, and I will have the blog post on the blog later today. I just got my YouTube SEO checklist Chrome extension back. Last week we had it, but what was happening is when we used it, it would just sort of it would refresh itself, and so if you checked any boxes, all the scores had disappeared. So I had to wait another few days so that we could add some Java code into it so that it would stay open, etc. And we just got that back today. So watch out for an email coming today, how you can access that, because it's actually a very, very nice tool to be able to use. And whenever you're, you know, optimizing your videos, you can have this open in Chrome at the same time, and it will help you to optimize your videos. And next week, what we're going to do, I've got another Chrome extension done. It's about blog promotion strategies, all white hat stuff, and it's a huge list, but it's stuff that is very, very doable. Okay, so that one has been ready for about a week as well, but again, he has to do the work so that it will stay open as you're working. So next week what we'll do is we'll give that one out, the blog promotion one. I'll just talk for about 30 minutes about the different strategies, which ones you really need to use, which ones are optional to use, but will you know, possibly give you a lot more traffic if you put the time into it. And so that's what we're going to cover next week, and you will get the free Chrome extension for the blog promotion next week as well. Okay. Ganti, how do you direct traffic from podcasts to your affiliate sites? Well, basically what you're going to do is you're going to send links. You're going to put links inside your description and inside your summary, but you can also talk about it in the podcast. Okay, talk about it in the podcast, mention it, tell them you got a link underneath on the podcast page. Hipcast gives you podcast pages, and when you post into your WordPress site, you can also use WordPress plugins to make them look nicer as well. That guy I give the link for on Fiverr, actually, this guy here, let me just, before I go, just mention him again, because he did a decent offer for $25 one-time cost. Let me just find him. Yeah, this guy here, one-time offer for $25, and he was charging in two different phases. One was for making a really nice looking podcast page for you, so all your latest podcasts would automatically get updated, but it would look good. And I think it was, you know, $10 for that and $15 for putting it on iTunes. So that's an option as well. What you could do is, if you're using Hipcast, you can also go to him and say, look, I'm using Hipcast, but I don't like, or I want to improve the WordPress podcast page. Then this guy is probably the guy to talk to that can do that for you for about $10 or $15. So, you know, one-time cost, and it gets done for you. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to finish there, but I will have this blog post up pretty quickly, because when I've got slides like this, it's just really easy to write them out. Okay. Thanks for your time. Thanks for attending. And I'll talk to you very, very soon. Okay. Bye.